So hey folks, and welcome back to another video. And on today's video we're just down at the boat again, and I've got a few jobs to do. One of them is to actually put the lettering on the new horseshoe life rings that I've put on the boat. As you can see here, the white ones from Seago, and also put the lights underneath them. So I need to put Sea Star in blue lettering, one on each side just now. And also I'm going to tackle the Teak today, just to see how it comes up. So one of the other jobs I'm going to do is the impeller. Now I already replaced the impeller on this engine, which is a Volvo Penta MD2030 29 horse engine in the boat. But it had a slight leak just from the face bracket, and one of the screws doesn't tighten up. But while I was thinking about doing this, I thought I'd replace also the water seal that's just behind the impeller as well. So we'll get that done today, and then we'll see what other jobs we manage to bang out on the boat. But I'll document everything, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so we've got some teak oil just here from Ron Seal, got some brushes. I bought some thread lock recently. We've got our stickers to go on the horseshoe buoys. I've also got from Meguiar's some oxidization remover, where I'm going to buff all of the deck and the cockpit with, and then give it a coat of pure wax again by Meguiar's, which I found off Amazon. Really good. Got my sandwich for later. Brought some WD-40 down to the boat, always comes in handy. And then just in this box here, there's a few items that I purchased, and one of the items is a new thermostat. So just to let you know a little bit about what happened on the way up from Milford Haven to Fleetwood. The engine had a slight overheat on day 4. Now it was showing the signal, and I got obviously an audible warning, and I knew that the faceplate on the impeller was dripping before I bought the boat. Like I say, there's just that little screw that won't tighten up, so it's dripping out of there. So I'd replaced the impeller, so I knew it wasn't the impeller. There's nothing in there. I've checked the raw water strainer as well on the boat. There was nothing amiss or anything stuck in there. It seemed to be pumping water out okay, so a couple of things it could be, if it's not the impeller and the water pipes and things. It could be this thermostat not opening correctly, which I suspect. I don't know when it was last changed. The other thing, like I say, I've got the kit here with a new impeller, also a water seal as well to pop in behind, a new gasket, but also I've got some new screws as well. If those won't tighten up, or the one that's loose and won't tighten up, then I'm going to have to use a tap and die set and just put a larger one in. So got that to do, and also when I change the thermostat, I've got some new gaskets to go into the back of there as well. One other thing just inside this box is the temperature sender unit that's screwed into the engine. That also could be the problem, so I'm going to change that. Now the only other thing that it could be, just below where you put your coolant into the engine, I'll show you shortly, there is a heat exchanger that goes through. So there's a load of tubes that go through just underneath where the coolant goes in, and basically when the water comes out of the impeller and through to go to the exhaust exit, seawater is pumped through there. Now these can get clogged up, and if they do get clogged up, they can create an overheating scenario. So I'll do all what I've got here with the kit. I will take that out, not today, another day, and I'll see if that is also blocked up. To do that, I'm going to need to drain the engine coolant, which I've got some new engine coolant coming, so I can't do that today, but we can do the first bit and get that done on the engine. Okay, so we've got one of the horseshoe life rings off. I've got my new lettering just here. Let's just Sea Star in blue, 2 of them. But what I need to do first, even though these are new, I'm just going to get some paint prep, which is basically some alcohol and just give them a wipe over just before I apply the transfer stickers. And this will make sure that they adhere to the outside of the vinyl. Okay, so let's take one of these. I'll need to cut these in half. Just press them down nice and neat, like so. So there's the first part. Obviously the bracket will sit in the middle, and I'll put the star on the other side. Okay, so that's one done, which all looks good. And get the other one. Okay, so job one done. And we've got C-star lettering on both sides of the buoys. Okay, on to some engine jobs. Now on this boat, the Bavaria 36, you have some steps coming into the boat between the both of the double cabins just at the back here, and then literally to get to the engine there's a panel this side in the bedroom and that side, but the main front of the engine where I want to be is just behind this this step area. So literally I'll just unclip it, and then as you can see the engine just behind, and also the raw water impeller just in here, fan belt, everything as you can see there is just easy to access really. Okay, so raw water impeller in here, basically the water comes up and through here and then puts it out eventually through here through the heat exchanger. But yeah, on this boat I don't know why it has these silly little wing nuts. Now one thing I must do is just check that the water inlet seacock is turned off, otherwise I'll get water pouring out through here. So I'm just going to take the side of the engine cover off and just double check that, and that's all off. Don't know if you can see that just there. That's where the side of the engine is through the bedroom section. Okay, so I'm all good to go. I'm going to get a little bit of water dripping out of here. You've got some water in the system, but it captures basically in this little tub just underneath here, which is good actually, because this doesn't go into the bilges or anything. There's no holes in there, which is great. So if some water does leak out or some condensation, you get the odd drip, because this gets really cold when you're running the engine. Obviously the cold seawater pushing through it. But yeah, I'm not a lover of these wing nuts. It's got some water dripping now. I'm just going to put a cloth so it doesn't drip everywhere. And basically you'll just get what's in the pipe. That was the that nut just there is the one that's the culprit and making it weep. So take that off. As you can see, you've got just a copper cover, and then you've got a gasket just in here. Now I have a new gasket, so it doesn't matter if I break that one. And then you've got the impeller. So what I need to do is get these bolts out of here. I'll just get some pliers or some mole grips on there to take them out, and I'll just pull that impeller out with a pair of pliers. Okay, so pair of grips just onto the impeller. Let's see if I can remove this. There we go. One rubber impeller. Now I know that's new and I know it's in good condition, so I can put that one back in afterwards. Now I don't know if you can see that, just in there we have a washer, a little rubber washer that goes into there that needs to come out. Okay, so the best way to take the seal out is literally just wiggle it out and pull it out with a pair of long nose pliers. And what this seal does is this seal stops the water from going through and into the engine. And there's another seal on the other side that stops just in there, that stops the oil coming this way. But what you do have is just behind the pump here, you have a gap in between these two seals, and that allows the engine, if that engine seal does go, to drip oil into this cove just here, and also if the water one goes, it'll drip water out and into here. It won't actually pass through into each other. So that's all good. What I'm going to do now is just take these bolts out, check the new ones fit okay and tighten up, and then I'm just going to give this a wipe out inside before I fit the new impeller and seal, and then screw it all back together. I'll just take a bit of emery cloth on here and just clean these edges up, and also on the faceplate as well. Okay, so there's the seal. Obviously you've got a little spring in there, or a circlip, and the back. That's the section that goes towards the back. And what I'm going to do to actually put this in is just put it in with a socket and just press it into the hole. Okay, so I've got a fine bit of paper, and I'm just going to clean up this surface just here, especially around these. But there's no gasket left on, which is good. Now, prior to pulling the impeller back in, use some of this and give it a good old grease up and make it all slippy before you put it back in, like so. Get it all in there. Now, it won't matter if there's any glycerin on this gasket surface. In fact, we want glycerin all over this gasket surface because this is where we're gonna connect it to. So a little bit just over there is perfect. And again on the gasket, just give it a good lube up as well, both sides, and then pop her on. Now on the other side of this, which is the faceplate, I'm just going to give it a little bit of an emery off around the edges. Bring it up nicely, like so. Beautiful. A little bit worn, but you can always get a new faceplate. I'll just give that a rub on the outside. I don't like green paint on the outside when it says Volvo Penta. Now, because this engine's been leaking water, there's a little bit of rust here and there, just on these bits on here. And what I'll do is, I've replaced the fan belt, by the way, on the journey when I was trying to dissect where the water was coming from. But I'm going to give this a coat of paint again, so more work to do on the engine. Just tidy her up, but she's a good motor. Like I say, 29 horsepower, Volvo Penta MD2030. Okay, so there's the gasket in place, and there's the new Volvo Penta, or refurbished, cap that goes on. Perfect, looks a lot better now. Okay, so wing nuts. Really don't like these wing nuts, but have no other choice really, unless I can get those out. Anyway, it was that one that was leaking, so that's the important one. And I'm quite happy now that I've replaced that seal as well. And also I'm going to start the engine and just give it a check, give it a test. Obviously wing nuts are easier to get off, but I do prefer screws. So I'm not tightening any of these up just yet, and then I'm going to cross tighten all of these to make sure that we've got a nice seal. Starting with that one, and go across, and just nip them up, do that one, and that should be all done. So I'm just going to get the water droplets off from underneath, around and about on the pipe, and then it's easy for me to distinguish if we've got any water leak at all, which should be good. So time for the big test. Have I cured the impeller water leak? Okay, so excuse the noise of the engine. I've got all the covers off currently, just checking that there's no leaks from the raw water impeller anymore. But as you can see, the teak is coming up really nicely with a bit of sanding, but whatever the guys put on this that had it before me is like painted it, and it's taking some coming off. So I'm just going to think a bit of paint stripper or something just on top of there, just to lift that a little bit, maybe with a scraper, and then get all that off nice and neat, and then go to the sanding stage. But yeah, really happy with the way that's coming up, and it should be that way. Also the floor below and all of the seating areas, as you can see, needs bringing up. Also just on the cockpit entrance just here. This wood needs bringing back to its original glory, as well as the other seating just here. Okay, that's about all of the boat jobs done for today. I've also given her a wash off. I'll just show you what I've done today on the boat. So, apart from washing the boat, I've actually cleaned the sail cover with some sail cleaner. Still wants another scrub just to get all of the green crap from off the winter. What else have I done? Clean the spray hood, although we do have a tear which is along the seam, so I'm probably going to get my daughter to sew that up for now. And then yes, we have a new one coming at some point. What else? So, big job of the day has been the teak on the seating area. Now, if you can see the floor area just there, the person that had the boat before me had painted the floor with the black paint. So I've spent all afternoon stripping and sanding down all of the seating area. I've just coated with some teak oil, so it's not yet dried, so it still looks a little bit dark. You can just see it drying just in that section just there, and there's a little bit of caulking that I need to touch up here and there on that, but I'm really happy with how the teak has come out. Next week I'm going to tackle the floor and sand all that down and oil it and get that looking pristine again. But yeah, she's looking good. Got the lettering on the horseshoes just there, and yeah, all ready for another trip, I think. So thanks for tuning in on this video. More boat jobs to come in the next video, so stay tuned for that. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also if you can give the video a big like. Thank you very much, folks, and catch you on another one soon.